Good morning. Uh, Today I wanted to do my first actual play for solo playing Ashen Stars. Um, if you saw my character creation uh, uh, video, then you'll be familiar somewhat with Kal Yang. Uh, what I've done is I've just created a very basic fillable character sheet with my it's an interactive character sheet, so I can record skills and that sort of thing. What else I've got on screen here is, sorry, this is the Ashen Stars uh, rulebook. I've got it open at the sample names pages. So if I need to create NPCs on the fly, I can just grab their names. I've got a dice roller. Um, Ashen Stars, oh, it's pretentious, isn't it? Ashen Stars uses 1d6. 1d6 for everything. So that's the only die there. Now, down in this corner, this is the built-in Windows post-it note tool. What I've done is I have created some little screenshots of a mercenary here. I've got all the stats and skills needed for a mercenary, a hired killer. These are the NPC foes I kind of expect to encounter. Kal Yang's motivation is to find someone that murdered his mentor, so the chances are, if that comes up, then there's going to be a hired killer involved. Gangsters are kind of my go-to, general, general armed guy on the street. I also have down here my two oracles. The basic yes no is a 1d6 roll. Um, so that is, yeah, if you've done any kind of solo play, you'll be familiar with that. And the word track is this is used. It's an improvisation prompt. If you didn't see the first, if you haven't read the sample rules booklet, um, you won't have seen this. If you have, you will know that when the first contract for Kal Yang came through, the inspiration was it was foul play, mystery, and a follow-up one said Luna. So the contract that Kal is investigating is a suspected foul play on a moonbase, and the mystery is that the victim of the crime has disappeared and is presumed dead. Uh, the As the sort of first scene progressed, it came up with Utopia. Now, the Combine, which is the sort of the background to the Ashen Stars universe, was considered a utopia. It came to an end 7 years ago following a war, but it was this utopian background. And Kal Yang's primary drive is to bring this utopia back, to extend the reach of the Combine back out into the Bleed, which is this kind of lawless border area. So utopia is kind of synonymous with the Combine, and the other inspiration there was kidnapping. So as the data packet which formed the contract came up, one of the last entries in the victim's sort of personal journal was the personal journal reflected the fact that he was a combinist. He was trying to move the government towards stronger ties with the Combine. And he had arranged a meeting with someone in this kind of political underground that he was in contact with, and he was trying to get some information about the kidnapping or kidnap victim or blackmail. It wasn't entirely sure. This is just someone's personal diary. So the way this works is the last word we used was kidnapping. If I need inspiration, I would roll the die, and one word on from kidnapping be paralysis. So that would be the first kind of word association word that I would use if I wanted a pair of words. So it'd be kidnapping and righteous. And I would put those together. No, sorry, it'd be paralysis and righteous. It would be, I would put those words together and see if I could come up with an inspiration. Um, so those are these little post-it note things here. This one is effectively going to be my journal where I'm going to collect the clues and make a note of them and try and make some sense of this adventure. This entry, the first scene, which features in the Solo Rules book, as Kal Yang's approaching the moon base. He has a Bala communications officer and a Cybist pilot. Kal Yang is very unapproachable. He's more respected than liked. He's kind of like this warrior monk. He's quite a hard man. So these two bridge crew fit in well with him because there's very little expression of emotion which fits the Bala, and he's again that kind of Kal Yang's the monkish side of him trying to achieve this physical perfection is kind of sympathetic to the Cybists. So his bridge crew is quite a terse bunch at best. They were refused landing permission simply by the act of there was complete radio silence. They requested permission to land. There was no response at all. This went on, complete radio silence. Addy, the Bala Communications or Hailer, she managed to decrypt the signals and override and get them a landing spot and open the airlocks. They landed, and as Kal Yang went into the sort of Stardock area, it was deserted. What's happened is the authorities have completely withdrawn all of the staff that would normally deal with sort of connecting the ship, refueling, all of those kind of practicalities have just been withdrawn, doors shut. There's just passive aggressive kind of withdrawal of all support. I've taken this as an inspiration for the authorities here are very anti-Combine. Kal Yang's reputation goes before him as a proven Combinist. They don't want him here. They don't want this external law enforcement coming in, and so they're just cold shouldering him. So Kal Yang, he's exploring the spaceport, Stardock area, that bit that's open to him, and Addy, the Hailer, who's got this override running, so she can open the Stardock, the doors, the doors in the starport, and so Kal Yang is sort of slowly investigating it, and he opens the door and he comes across a security guard. Now, this is kind of the limit of where the first scene went. And Kal Yang's real strength is in interrogation. He's kind of like a praying mantis type character. He can be quite silent. It makes other people feel uncomfortable, and they try and fill in the fill the silence. So interrogation is one of his main investigative techniques, and he demands of this guard, what's going on, why wasn't he given permission to land. He's trying to be quite uh, he browbeating the poor guard, and he's using interrogation. Now, a 4+ is needed to succeed. I've rolled a 3. Ashen Stars has a pay the toll technique, game mechanic, which means if I want that success, I can pay 1 point from my pools to buy that up to a 4, which I will do. Now, I'm going to pay that point from my interrogation. Now, when I created him, I left 12 unspent points. So I'm going to make that 11. And in the interrogation, I will... lost the plot. The interrogation has to be a minimum of 2 for me to successfully... so I've moved that point into interrogation, which means I've now got the point I need to... No, I'll just... So right now that is 1. Oops. Because although my pool is 2, I've spent 1 of them to buy that up to a success. I hope that makes sense. If you know how to play Gumshoe and Ashen Stars, it should do. So Kal Yang has successfully sort of browbeaten and interrogated the guard to find out what's going on. And the guard confesses that the orders were to keep him confined to the Stardock. Don't let him land. Don't let him into the moonbase. This obviously failed. And while Kal Yang's got the upper hand, he insists to be taken to the management. And so they make their way through the Stardock into the sort of admin headquarters. And Kal Yang is going to use his cop talk skill to try and take some of the edge off of this, some of the hostility out of their relationship. So he's using the skill. He's got a 6. He's successful. So he starts talking to the guard. He understands it's not the guard's fault. He's just following orders. Kal Yang's got a job to do, and they start to get a little bit of a rapport. And eventually they reach this sort of director's office, and the security guard, because they've got this rapport, he opens the door for Kal Yang, and he unexpectedly walks into the director's office. The guard stays outside. He doesn't want to be blamed or doesn't want to be sort of caught in the crossfire of any recriminations. So Kal Yang and the director, who I'm going to make a human, and his name is Aid. He is Aid Bada. So I'll make a note of that. So the Moonbase director, human, Aid Bada. So that's now in my journal. The Kal Yang well, the aid badger, he leaps up from behind his desk, demanding to know who this is, and Kal Yang retorts with, what do you think he's doing? Refusing entry to laser, a laser team here to investigate a missing person. And we're going to use interrogation again to try and get the upper hand here, and that's another a good roll from Kal Yang. And he browbeats this aid badger into confessing that he received orders. It was an email saying that a laser team was coming and he had to block it. Um, there was no name on the email, but it came with the highest authority. And now we're going to use this. That's a good roll here, and so let's see what else Cal can come up with. So the last one was kidnapping. Going on from there is solution and alignment. So so what does this mean? And to me, that says that what this email actually said was that Kal Yang had to be stopped because he is trying to bring this moon and this star system back under the Combine control. And if that happens, then Aid Barter is going to lose his job. They're going to put a combinist director in his place. So if he knows what's good for him, he is going to block Kal Yang, block his investigation, stop him landing, do whatever you can to keep him away. So that is, that was the improvisation prompt. Now, there was no name on this email. Kal Yang demands that it is the emails forwarded to his hailer back on the ship, Addy, and so there's a potential clue here of the email source, and so who sent it. So we have our first clue. Which skill we're going to use for that. Is going to probably come under decryption, which is not one of Kal Yang's skills, or data retrieval is more like. Both of these are not in his skill set, but he's got this backup team, a bit like a CSI TV series where you've got a whole forensic lab. He's got a backup team. He will pass this on to them. So it's been emailed to Addy, who has got these skills. So Kal Yang now demands to be able to see the victims. No, he chose the contract. He wants to know if the director knew the victim, which he says he didn't. and demands to be taken to his accommodation. Now, the victim is a Chuk Chuk. I don't know how you actually meant to pronounce that. And his name is Bugzer. So the victim Bugzer. So I'm going to pronounce that. That was the victim. Now, you'll notice that what I'm doing is just taking the next available each time. I don't need to stop and think. I don't need to agonize over what's the best fitting name. It's just the next available. It does mean that early in the adventures, everyone's going to be called sort of Addy and Bugzer and Aid, and towards the end of these adventures, they're going to be called Xenazuki or something. Um, that doesn't really matter. I could mix it up. I could decide to go across rather than down. It just doesn't really matter. I'm skipping names that. No, I thought Ada Arbor was sounded more feminine, and for some reason I thought the director would be masculine. Um, so yeah, it's all personal preference. So we have a victim, um, and it isn't what I expected actually. I had imagined them to be a human, but it doesn't matter. And because of that interrogation role, and we've now got a very compliant director. He arranges for our security guard, who's still waiting outside, to escort Kal Yang to Bugs' accommodation. Now we will give the security guy a name, and he is human. And his name is, let's go sideways this time. Cairo. Oh, where's the humans gone? Cairo Fisher. Oops. Cairo Fisher, security officer. Mm, Human. So I'm getting a little cast list of NPCs popping up. If I need any stats for him, then I would use a standard mercenary um, set of stats here, which yeah, that's a fairly standard sort of military trained person, so that's fine. And Cairo um, agrees to, obviously don't have much choice, to direct me to, or escort me to uh, Bugs's accommodation. So we travel through the moonbase. I'm imagining a monorail type system, and we travel through there, and we get to this very austere sort of cell type accommodation, and we're going to start. Kal Yang tells Cairo Fisher to, they get, swap communicator details, and says, leave him alone here for him to investigate, and we're going to start the investigation. So, using the evidence gathering skill, it's an automatic success in Ashen stars, but we need to know whether there's actually anything defined. So bringing up the oracle here, are there any clues to be found? And the answer is no, because now that why aren't there any clues? Because there's actually a automated cleaning system here, and between of the disappearance of Bugser and now, nobody turned off the automatic cleaning. So the little cleaning bots, the hygiene bots, it cleans the place, and everything is exactly how it should be, because obviously Bugs has not been there to move anything, and every 24 hours along comes the cleaning bot and has cleaned it. The place is pristine. There's no evidence of any kind of disturbance or nothing out of its place. This draws a bit of a blank. Now, this puts us back to either this original journal that uh, was provided by the Combine for the contract, or the email source. So both of these being digital, we go back to Addy, and Addy's been doing the sort of the data of the forensic data work, and has Addy come up with a clue? It's no, but there's no clue as to what directly happened. The but says we found a location. One of Bugs's favorite meeting places was, and let's find out where that was. So let's give me a roll on here. Where would a Bugs meet people? Now the last one was a partnership. That immediately said to me something like a lawyer or an accountant. So he was a partner in one, two, three, four, five, a trust, a charitable trust. So this charitable trust had public offices and meeting rooms, and whenever Bugser had to meet someone, rather than bringing them into his own quarters here, he used to use a meeting room at the charitable trust where he was a partner. And so, using his headset, Kal Yang calls up Cairo and says he would like to investigate or he'd like to visit this charitable trust. And again, this is a simple um, monorail ride. We're out of the starport as the dock area. We're now into the moon base itself, and I'm picturing this as a nicely domed uh, moon base. A pitch black sky studded with stars, white buildings, and there were the moon base sort of residents here going about their daily business. And the monorail draws up outside this office block, and then we're going to the security Cairo, the security guard. He shows his credentials and takes Kal Yang in and introduces him. There's a receptionist there, and the receptionist conducts him to the room, and has the room been cleaned, or has it been used? And we've got yes, it has. The room has been used. Someone has been in it. But who was it? Well, a yes and is a useful piece of information. Not only has someone been using it, the room has been trashed. Someone has broken in and they've ripped the room to pieces. Um, that's what that yes and means to me. So the meeting. So this is a definite clue. Something has happened here. Uh, Clue. The meeting room has been tossed. Everything ripped apart. Someone looking for something. I reckon that would have been an overnight break-in. So this now, I've got several things I can investigate here. Is there anything obviously missing from the room? Did the break-in leave any evidence behind? So the first thing I'm going to do is just ask the receptionist, is there anything obviously missing? And yes, there is. And it was something really obvious. And it's a computer. The computer terminal that used to be built into the meeting room desk has gone. So there was an obvious clue there that the clue um, trust computer terminal stolen in break-in. And so now we're starting to get a few clues here. Now I'm going to leave it at this point because you know that gives you an example of, I've been using the word track oracle, I've been using the yes no. You can see how the gumshoe, Ashen stars, investigative skills are automatic. If there is a clue, you will find it. But the clues you find are the clues you're looking for. Now you can see how I am bringing up. I'm building a set of clues here that. Sorry. I'm building a set of clues, and I'm just going to bold the clues. So, 'cause I'm going to save this for my next little session. So technically, I have played a couple of scenes here. We started in the of the Stardock area, and then we had a short scene with the with Aid Barda. That has taken us then to a scene at the Bugs's apartment, his little cell, and then a scene at the trust. With each scene, I've used the Oracle to create as many facts as I needed, and at each scene, I have collected clues. Um, and I am going to, I can put these together um, to build my mystery. One of the things I wanted to touch on is, if I go into the Ashen Stars rules here and maximize that a second, and just search for railroad. Now there are several references to railroading. Um, Here they talk about, can you see that? Yes, you can. Uh, Groups expressed the strongest misgivings about possible railroading were those whose DMs had done the most improvising. Now, everything here is improvised, um, but I have no idea who did this crime or even why. Deep down, what the actual cause of the what precipitated the kidnapping and possible murder. Um, there is no railroading. It's just where I look for clues is where I'm most likely to find them. Um, and here's another reference to railroading. If you yourself are still worried that gumshoe encourages or requires railroading, take heart from your playtest experience. Yeah, there is no need to railroad. I can see the danger in that if there is one crime, one victim, one perpetrator, and there is a line of clues, it looks like you're going to be pushing people from clue to clue to clue to clue to investigative site to investigative site to investigative site. Some players feel that the gumshoe systems oops, you can't quite see this one. Um, it says some players may feel the gumshoe system's reliance on automatic successes inevitably leads to a railroad result. In practice, this simply isn't so, and it isn't. I could go anywhere and choose to do anything, and the oracle is going to lay track. If it's a railroad, the oracle is going to lay track wherever I want to go. It's not a case of I have to go where the railroad leads. This is a real theme. If you look at that, 9 or 10 references to railroading in a rule book for a role-playing game. That is a high sort of body count for something which the game doesn't do. It ultimately is going to come down to how you play your characters, and if you've got a GM that is prepared to improvise, then your adventures could take you anywhere. I am looking at this. You know, Kal Yang, let's bring his character sheet up. His personal arc is vengeance, avenging his mentor's assassination by bringing the killer to justice. That is what I want to achieve. Um, his drive, I don't know if I actually wrote it down, but well, he served the Combine in the Navy as a medic. His drive is to reintroduce uh, the Combine, to extend its lore. These are going to be the overarching story arcs which I will bring about. Combinism. Here is his drive. The whole story is about me and Kal Yang, my character in a solo game. There is no need for railroading to be a thing in this game, and even more so in solo play. Now, I may carry this on, you do another installment of Kal Yang and his investigation, um, and we'll see. Most of my sort of adventures with Kal Yang are going in this kind of political, you, you know, political meddling and interference, that kind of direction. So yeah, I will do another video. I will definitely do another video carrying on Kal Yang's adventures. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments after this video. But I will carry on with Kal Yang on another day.